Aha! You are about to listen to the Redhead Boy podcast, available on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts from. Now enjoy the show.
Splendid girl, and so helpful. Do you know she's been showing me how to stick the pole up?
Great.
That is a very big one you have there, is it not, Mr. Woozy?
Eh? Oh, this. How about the other half?
Aye?
Another one of those.
Oh, Tsar.
Oh, I wouldn't put that in my mouth if I were you. Might explode.
I hope not. Matron doesn't approve of banging in the wards.
I can't do it lying down.
Oh, dear me, you do have a problem.
No, I mean, I prefer to sit down, if you don't mind.
Don't mind if it turns you on, who cares?
Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the Redhead Boy podcast, hosted by me, Harry. Hope everyone's having a good week so far. Hope everyone's staying safe. Hope everyone is staying active. Or just watching a shit ton of Netflix, like me. Hope everyone's having a good one. Today I have an awesome guest on the podcast. Definitely one of my favourite interviews that I had yesterday. We had a right laugh, and my guest is hospital radio DJ and entrepreneur Rob Linzell. He is an amazing man with such a beautiful soul, and we just had a great conversation. I'm not going to what's the word? Fuck. Can't think of the word this morning. I'm not going to tell you anything about the conversation. I'm just going to dive right in it. So you guys enjoy the episode. Hello.
Hello, buddy.
How you doing? All right?
Yeah, not bad. You?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Oh,
there we go.
There you go. I wasn't sure if you were feeling that shy today that you didn't stare at your face. I was like, am I just gonna stare at your name for the entire conversation? You know?
Yeah, you can do that.
How are you?
Loving the background.
Oh, thank you. I literally earlier I was like, because it's always good to make sure that things are going to work before you actually go and do something.
Mm-hmm.
No, I decided to mess about with the background, but now I probably won't be able to figure out how to turn it off. So hey,
I'm gonna have one too.
I was gonna put my podcast logo, and then I thought it was a bit much.
I wouldn't mind. This is your show, mate.
It's a bit too egotistical,
No, I know better than that with you.
Thanks. Oh no, it's good to see you. Long time no see, eh?
It has been way too long, my friend.
Way too long. How's your day been?
Such a nice change.
Yes, I know. I'm in the driving seat today. The power.
I'm scared now.
Nah, it'll be chilled. No, what you been up to today? You been up to much today?
No, not really. Not today. That's been. I had to run my mum to the doctor's earlier on. It's just a check-up thing, and then I've just been trying to sort out the stuff in my room because I had Bella for the last week, week and a bit. She came back earlier than anticipated last week, so it's like so I've had instead of having a week, more or less a week to sort stuff out when she went back on Monday last week. Yeah, it was like, no, Monday came halfway through Monday. My ex was like, "Can you get Bella?" Yeah, okay. And it ended up being a case of, can you keep her? It's like, okay. So we ended up, I had to keep her because her class bubble got shut down because of a positive COVID test. So we've kind of been isolated in a bedroom for the last week, which was not great. I bet for her that was
super. Both of you locked in one room together, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's been good. I mean, it's been nice, and we've done a few bits. We did a bit of DIY together because I bought a wardrobe, and so yeah, it's been all right.
Nice.
And then racking my brains for after you contacted me, it's like a quote. It's like, I love film. How am I supposed to narrow that one down?
Oh no! Like literally every time I get a guest on and I ask that, they're like, "Oh, this is such a hard question. Why'd you ask me this question?"
Do you know how many films I've actually? I mean, I used to work at the cinema. Come on. I very nearly went with Harry Potter just for the laugh, but I wanted to do the old "You're a wizard, Harry."
Yeah. No, actually, that'd be a good thing to like kick off. Why? Because for people that will listen to the complete show, if you guys didn't realize, it was some quotes from the classic Carry On films. I had fun finding those. They are still hilarious, actually.
That's why, for all the films I've chosen, that would be the reason I chose them.
Yeah. No, I think they're like a real funny film to like just sit down and just like laugh to and stuff. And as well, you could sit down and say, "Oh, you can't say that anymore, really."
Well, actually, technically, you can. I mean, they're just tongue-in-cheek, double entendre, fun. There's nothing wrong from even today. They hold up. It's great.
Yeah, no. I showed them to my partner that he doesn't really get English humor whatsoever, and he was like, "Oh," I was like, "Yeah." Yeah. I was like, "There's Barbara Windsor with her boobs out."
Many males' fantasy.
Yeah. Oh, bless her. No, so how have you been like recently and stuff? What have you been doing to like keep yourself entertained and stuff? Obviously you've been like dadding and stuff, and I saw you doing like all creative bits with your daughter and all that stuff recently and all that.
Yep. Being a dad recently, just because of the circumstances, and say she came back early, and then the podcast, my baby had an episode was thrown in there while she was here, which was great because she usually works with me on that, which is brilliant.
Oh, does she? Oh, cool.
Awesome. Yeah, mine's a faith-based one, so she kind of tends to do the Bible reading stuff, and I kind of do all the rest of it. So it works really well as a team.
Oh, cool. No, I listened to like a bit of your most recent one last night, and I was like, "Oh, whose voice is that?" And then fair. No, that's good. That's good.
that would be my daughter. That would be my Bella, because she's very much a daddy's girl, and she loves getting involved doing stuff like that, and she loves to keep me on my toes, which kids generally do. But I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
No, that's good. That's good that you make it like a family affair, which is nice.
Well, yeah, and I mean the other nice thing was obviously, the last one I did was the Valentine's special, and that was based off the fact that Valentine's just having gone. I'm single, and I thought, what? There's too much emphasis put on couples. On Valentine's Day. And I know that is technically the main focus, but it's so commercialized and it puts so much pressure on people. And I thought, well, how can I flip that? So I decided to make Valentine's Day about me and my daughter. Kind of what? I'm single. You're 9. I hope you're single. But hey, we can be each other's Valentines, because what? Daddy will always love you, and you love Daddy. So it's we made it about us, because I wanted to grow up knowing it doesn't matter, whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're married. There's nothing wrong with any of them. It's fine to be single, and it's great to be in a relationship, but there's nothing wrong with single, and it does put a lot of pressure and anxiety on some people.
Because
and I wanted to take that away from them.
Because sadly, there's so much pressure, for young people to get into that. Really, to be honest, like from school and all that type of stuff, you get some.
Oh, absolutely. Social pressure is so high. It's ridiculous. And I mean, it's a few years since I've read statistics on Valentine's Day, but I know that certainly a few years back, the statistics were ridiculously high for people and depression, especially on Valentine's Day, just because of the whole peer pressure thing that, it's considered wrong to be single. And it's like, what's wrong with being single? You're your own boss, and you can do things your way and enjoy your life on your terms. And I say it's great to be involved in a relationship, but it's not the be all and end all.
No, that's a really good that's a really good message to hammer home. Really, it's good to be it's all right for it to just be yourself.
Absolutely. So the other point I wanted to make with Bella on Valentine's Day was the fact that how she should be expected to be treated, but by a partner or someone who loves her or says they love her, for future reference. It's like, treat them with respect and love. The old phrase, treat your woman or your partner like a king or a queen, and just give them the love and respect they deserve. Gentlemanly in the case if you happen to be the male partner, and all these other things that come into the relationships. I just wanted to grow up being positive and strong in that respect, and not be reliant on the fact that she needs to find identity with someone else. She's her own person.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, no, that's a really cool. Yeah, and I saw the pictures. They were really sweet, where you made the bracelets and stuff and everything. It's really cool.
Well, I say, that we got rings. I wanted to get her something, and I did order her a little kind of ring, and she then decided she wanted to get me something. She had a load of money for Christmas, and she was like, "Daddy, you should get yourself something, and I'll pay for it. You can have my money to put towards it." No, you don't have to do that. I mean, it's lovely, but she was really insistent that she wants to give some of her Christmas money towards that ring that I got for myself. So, and she helped me choose it. Like, oh, Daddy, I think you should get that one. So, it was lovely. It's really nice. It's moments like that just makes parenting all worthwhile. There are moments where you just if you had hair, you want to pull your hair out. But fortunately, I don't have that problem.
You could have lied, Rob. You could have lied. No one's going to see you. You could have said you had an afro.
Anyone who listens to it who knows me knows I haven't got any hair.
Yeah. No, that sounds really good. Yeah, no, that sounds like that would be a good little tradition to have with your daughter and everything as a nice thing.
Yeah. Tradition's important, with kids, and unfortunately last year and looking again like this year as well, our original tradition's gone completely out the window, because we always used to go annually to Butlins together.
How did you?
Other sites are available. To use my old quote from the radio show.
Yeah, the old hospital radio come out now, Rob.
Not just selling one product here. But yeah, we always went to Butlins every year. It's a bit of time alone together, just us two alone, going away, and it was lovely. But of course, with the pandemic, we couldn't do last year. And it's looking highly unlikely this year's on the cards either. So, it's like, well, what can I do? And this was the first time where she's old enough actually as well now that it's like, what, let's do something Valentine's Day. Let's bring that in as a tradition, and hopefully we'll get back to the going away part at some point as well. But, we'll have to see how things pan out.
Yeah. No, cool. No, that's really good. No, no, it was really sweet to see your posts and stuff. It's nice that, as you say, on Valentine's Day, if you are single, you're constantly reminded by everybody's posts and stuff. including mine from mine and stuff. You find yourself like going, oh, I care about this person, but I don't mean to like rub it in everyone else's faces. So yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
No, it's difficult for well, it can be difficult for people who are single, and that's like I say, it's nothing wrong with it. And I'm really happy for my friends who are in relationships. Seeing your posts, it was lovely. It's really nice, and it's uplifting, because for me, being single isn't an issue. It used to be, but nowadays I'm very philosophical about it. It's like, you know what? It's great being single. I can concentrate on, other things like, the podcasts and trying to build up my business and being a parent. And it just means I can focus in on other things. You're not splitting your attention. So I'm happy in myself with that. So I can be happy for you and other people who are in relationships. It's like, you know what? They're happy. That's great. And maybe my turn will come eventually.
No. And I think it's important to like really know yourself. Like, really, it's good. It only helps you like ridiculous amounts, really. And it can only make you a better person once you get into that next relationship,
Oh, absolutely. At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, if you don't know yourself in a relationship, that relationship's always going to struggle, if not fail. Yeah, because you're never going to be happy if you're not happy in yourself. You're literally relying on the other person to make you happy all the time, and that's pressure on them. So it is important. If you're single, don't feel bad about it. If there's a message I would get out there, be happy about being single. Focus on yourself, learn who you are, and be happy with your life. Having relationships a cherry on top. It's the icing on the cake if you find someone to love you. Mm-hmm. But I say it's not the be all and end all. Be happy in yourself.
Yeah, and I think since what has happened like the last year and a bit, it's important to really cherish time and not waste about moaning or like saying, oh, I haven't got this. Well, it doesn't really matter. So.
Oh yeah, it's just important. I mean, like you say, with the last year and a bit, with the pandemic, it has certainly reshaped how people have to think. Yeah. If you can't go, if you're not one of the people who's allowed to go out to work and you're kind of stuck at home and you have to rethink what you're doing, you've got plenty of time on your hands. It's how my podcast was born, because of the fact that I just had time on my hands. It's like, what am I going to do? Let's make myself busy. Let's start a podcast. So yeah, and it gives you a chance. In the last year and a bit, I've had a chance to learn who I was again, which has been great, because I'd not long come out of a relationship prior to all of that. And it was just nice to focus in on who I was and relearn that and go on this really incredible journey of self-discovery, amongst other things that's been going on in the last year or so. I think that's really valuable to do, and you just end up feeling so much better in yourself and in your own skin and stuff if you actually generally like feel yourself and stuff like that. Absolutely. Yeah. No, so since I'm going to try and steer it, because I made a joke with the guest last week and I was like, we were going off on like tangents for ages and we ended up speaking for like 2 hours. So I split the episode in half. And I was like, somehow I managed to like keep it like going somewhere. But, if I might at this point, I should point out that is not unusual for the two of us. No, to be fair, no, you are right. You are right, because yes, if anybody doesn't know, who isn't familiar to Rob, Rob DJs at the Chichester Hospital Radio, and I used to come in as a guest occasionally. I think it became a bit more than occasionally, because then they told us that I needed to actually sign up for it. But yes, and Rob is very good at going, okay, Harry, we need to keep going now. We only have an hour. We need to keep going. I need to get in my little bits. So
yeah, so to jump on about the podcast, tell us more about Hope and Coffee. Like, tell me more about what was the initial like acorn that you decided to be like, okay, let's do it, let's do this.
Okay, so Hope and Coffee is a faith-based podcast based on my faith, because I'm a Christian. And I have been since I was 14 years old. So it was actually my 30th year as a Christian last year.
Oh, really?
Many ups and downs in the process. But when the lockdown came, I just gone through a really weird kind of 2 or 3 months, because just prior to the end of the previous year, I'd come out of a relationship, and I was in a strange place as it was. And at the beginning of last year, I ended up getting diagnosed with sleep apnea, for one thing, which was great in itself, because that helped, because now I get a decent night's sleep most of the time, thanks to that diagnosis, which is brilliant. Gives me a lot more energy. But the other more important thing prior to that was the fact that I had the diagnosis of having ADHD. Which is a attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That's a mouthful and a half. But with tendencies towards the not attention deficit rather than the hyperactivity, although I can be quite hyperactive, as you know. And it's like, but that helped me understand who I was a bit better. It made me look back at my life and go, you know what, I understand now how I handled those situations and why I handled it that way, and why I am how I am sometimes. And when I got into the lockdown, or as the lockdown was approaching, it was like, well, what am I going to do? I can't just sit around not doing anything. That will drive me insane. And I just felt, you know what, let's share some positivity. Let's start Hope and Coffee. Let's do a faith-based one for those I know within my own church, and anyone else in other churches here in England or around the world. And I have got quite a global listening force now, which is quite impressive, because I didn't actually put it out there and advertise as such.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah, no, because I know you get a little bit of audience from America, from like your friends from like out there and stuff like that, don't you? So
yeah, I've got a couple of friends in America who kind of tune in, and some friends over here, and I've got kind of Nigeria and Canada and a few other countries in there now, which is really strange. It crops up, because I mean, I can't remember. Do you use Anchor?
Yeah.
So that it's got the analytical part of it. Tells you where they're listening from, and every so often you check that and it crops up. I'm guessing it knows where the IP is logging in from, so it's logging in from a different country, and every so often a new country pops up, and say the first one that popped up was Nigeria, really randomly. And I had a lovely little voice message come through on the system from the person who listens. That's a really great message. Loved it. And say Ireland in there as well, and it was great. I say it started out as I used to do a daily reading, just to keep myself focused, and I just wanted to share that with people. And eventually, I reached 100 odd episodes, and realised that
I looked at it last night, and I was like, "How many seasons has he done?" I was like, "Well." I got this in my notes. I was like, he's done 6 seasons. I was like, damn.
To be fair, I'm not sure you can count them as seasons when I haven't really taken a break between each one. It just got to the point I'd done 32 episodes, and I thought, you know what, I really need to break it out and say different seasons. Yeah. And then immediately went on, recorded another one, and posted it the following day. It's like, that's not really taking a break or kind of leaving a gap. So technically I've done 150 odd episodes, whatever it is now, rather than 6 seasons, because I haven't really left much of a break as such. But as you can probably imagine, I got to about 100, and it was like, you know what, I've talked about an awful lot. I'm running out of things without repeating myself. So I slowed it down and changed it to, you know what, I will do one a weekend, couple of weekend if I feel like that's the way to, you know, that's how I end up doing it. So I just eased it down a little bit, and as long as people, you know, even if one person's listening, I shall continue to do it. And I love doing it because it's just and the feedback I get. I mean, I don't know if you get it with your show at all, but it's just the positive feedback, and it's like, you know what, that was great, that message was brilliant, and it really helped. You know, that's all I need to keep me encouraged.
That's really good. That's really good that you have that like interaction with the people that are listening and everything and stuff. So yeah, because I gave myself a good talking to at the beginning of the year, because I have this like thing where I get really into something and I do it really well for like the first like 6 months, and then I drop off the face of the earth. So I do that. I've done that with my like filmmaking work as well. I get really into it and I write a script and I get a really good draft, and then I'm like, okay, that can go in the drawer for the next how many months. So that's what I did with the last season of this podcast. I did like 15 episodes, and then did like films that I was looking forward to, films that were coming out in the summer, which obviously no films came out in the summer last year. But and then I sort of dropped off the face of the earth. So I said to myself this year, I was like, I need to just like focus and just keep like striding through. Don't put loads of pressure on myself, but sort of like just keep a constant thing. Like because for me it's like, is such a creative thing, and it like it feeds your soul. So I feel like if I do at least this each week and I do a bit of writing, then I'm good. I don't, and then I go to my, you know, retail job at the weekend, and I don't feel as depressed there, you know. So
yeah, I get it.
So just as long as you do your own little thing, then it makes you feel better. It feeds your soul, as they say.
Oh, it certainly does. And you know what? I think one of the reasons we've always got on so well is we are a lot alike in that respect. I mean, obviously mine stems from the ADHD. I'm just very easily distracted. You know, it's like, la-di-da-da, I'm doing this. Oh, shiny. You know, it's like, oh dear, that's me distracted. You know, because I did exactly the same thing. Because funny enough, I had a podcast prior to the Hope and Coffee podcast that I did 2 episodes for. That was called the Illumination Lounge.
Yeah, I remember.
And that was it was a far more personal one that was just going to be my journey during lockdown. I did 2 episodes, and it kind of just I'll come back to that in a bit. And yeah, I'm so easily distracted, and I think the important thing is, and I think you found this with doing your podcasts, you've got to do something you love.
Yeah,
you know, you've got to be passionate about what you're doing, and that's what keeps you going. You know, it's you know, I love, you know, my faith's always been important to me, and that's driven Hope and Coffee. You kind of love film and social interaction and just the kind of chats like we have, and you know, that's what drives you. I'm sure I can safely say that. I
literally say it to people. I'm like, the only reason that I do it when I get guests on is just to be nosy to see what other people are doing in their life. So that's it, and chat a bit of film and a bit of television, and that's about it, really. So if people want to listen to it, they can totally do, and I really appreciate it. You know, as you say, it's a bit funny. Like, I don't get a huge amount of numbers, and I think that's important for people that want to start doing this and stuff, is to try not to get too bogged down with the numbers and stuff, and like looking at the app and go, how many people have listened to my Valentine's episode that I put up yesterday or whatever. So but yeah, you just got to do it because you want to do it, not for how many views or how many listens, or, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all too easy to look at the numbers, and to be fair, the way it works on certainly on Anchor, and you'll know this, is you kind of get an estimated regular listen number.
Yeah.
Which tends to fluctuate depending on how many episodes you've put up, and then how many people have therefore listened to it since then. But it does fluctuate quite a lot. It doesn't represent a true number of how many people listen, because that's based on how many times the show is listened to. And yeah, it's hard sometimes. Sometimes it's hard not to get caught up in the fact, oh,
yeah,
look, someone's listened to that episode 15 times. It could be the same person 15 times for all I know. But
yeah, or it could just be me checking that it sounds okay.
Or I could just be running up my own numbers and listen to the episode as many times as I can and put the numbers up. Hey, look at this! I've had 100 listens.
I think it's important. Anybody that wants to do anything, they should just do it for themselves, not do it for anybody else or for any of that stuff. But I do make a joke that I say to Mosh, my partner, and like anyone, I'm sure everyone gets fed up with my Facebook posts that's like podcast stuff, or me writing, or like me doing, because I got into the habit now of doing Facebook stories of what I've been watching like that day and stuff. And I'm sure my twin brother's like, why the hell are you doing all this stuff? Like, we know what Harry's been watching for the past like 6 months. So it's important to just be like bugger to them and just do what you want to do, and people, so
Absolutely.
It's good. Ashley, would you mind diving in when if we go back? You said that you have been a Christian since you were 14. So did you not? Were you not? I don't know if we've had this discussion before. Actually, are your parents religious, or are they Christian?
No, my parents aren't. That came about because, I had a very select few people I was with, not necessarily through choice back in the day, but certainly by that age, I was a bit more selective on my friendships, and I got to know this one guy and his slightly younger sister who lived in the neighborhood, and started going to his church youth group because his mum ran it. And I was perfectly happy with that. I wasn't religious in any way, shape or form, and I wasn't particularly interested as such. But, he was a nice guy, and I loved his sister and his mum, and the other people involved. And then at 14, I was invited to go away to the Isle of Wight to a place called Westbrook, which is an old boarding school that hires out to group events. And I wasn't initially interested. It's like, I'm happy to go to a church youth group for an hour or two of an evening once a week.
Yeah.
But I'm not entirely sure I want to be locked in a boarding school for an entire weekend with them. But then I figured out there were going to be, 14, hormones kicking in. I figured out there were going to be girls present. So it's like, you know what? Yay, great, I'm going to go. So I went along for the girls, and I discovered faith instead. So, good trade there.
Faith is in religious faith, not a girl called Faith.
Yeah, yes, indeed. No, there was a girl called Tammy, who was an obsession for about the first evening, and then I started paying attention the following morning to the talks and the music and everything, and it's like, you know what? And by the end of the weekend, I discovered faith and discovered God, and I made my commitment there, and so it's been a topsy-turvy old ride, and I've done a lot of foolish non-Christian things in the 30 years I've been a Christian, but we all make mistakes and we all fall away, and it's easy to do. The thing people don't realize, there's still a lot of misconception that, if you're a Christian, people think you're this goody two shoes who's above everyone, but you're not. You're just as human as everyone else, and you make mistakes and you do stupid stuff. We're no different than anyone else. I certainly don't think I'm better than anyone else. my faith doesn't make me better than anyone else. I'm still me. And it's one of those misconceptions when I meet someone new. It's not often these days, and certainly not since the lockdown. but yeah, so you meet someone new, if they kind of give you that impression, they're thinking, oh yeah, he thinks he's better than me because he's of his faith. And it's like, no, that's really not the case.
Yeah.
I'm not religious. I'm not going to start shoving my faith down someone else's throat and preaching at them if they don't want to hear it. If friends who are non-Christian want to ask me, I'll talk about it. But say that's their choice, and I live by my faith, and I respect anyone who doesn't want to live by faith. That's their choice, and that's fine with me. It doesn't mean I'm not going to like them or care for them as a friend any less. I mean, you can attest to that. You've known me quite a while now. And you know what? We're great mates, and I love you dearly as a mate.
Oh, bless you. Oh, thank you.
So,
you too.
Our differences in opinion on faith makes no difference to me. And I think that's the problem. It's not just with faith either. That's the thing. The world seems to have forgotten that you can have differing opinions and still get on. Yeah. We don't agree on everything, but we're still good mates. We have a laugh. We don't disrespect each other because of the fact we disagree on certain things. That's part of life. Yeah, no, for some reason it seems to be like people automatically say, oh, well, you've got to be one side or the other. It's silly and childish, really. It sort of goes back to being at school, really. You're like, come on now, we surely we must grow out of that and teach our kids and young people that we shouldn't have to do that. So. Oh yeah, I mean, you say school, but actually it's like being back at primary school, even going right back to nursery. It's like, don't like you because you don't agree with me. You're not my friend anymore. It's like grow up. Grow up. You know what? We get on in so many other ways, and it's okay to differ. It's how you relate through those differences that's important. We might have our differences as friends, but we're great mates regardless, because we understand the concept that we respect that. And I think it's always good, like as a young person, like when you were 14 and you found yourself in with that group, it must have been deeply important that you found a group that you could be with and be like yourself with, and have that group of a sense of community. It doesn't have to be religion. It could be like a film group once a week, or it could be scouts, or anything like that. Oh, absolutely. It's like you say, the important part is finding community, and finding friendships that are supportive and give you the love and respect that you need and deserve. We all deserve love and respect as individuals. I say, I mean, unless you're way out there, there's no reason, you shouldn't be given, respect that you deserve. And community is a really important thing. I mean, I speak about it from a faith point of view. It's really important for me that the community I am in, the friendships I have are supportive, because it can be hard as a Christian to maintain that. It's not about the building, but that helps when you can gather, which is certainly made the last year or so interesting and difficult in some respects. But it's a hard wearing thing, is faith and church, because it carries on regardless, and it's just carried on with online services, which has been great. You're still getting the support. It's not the same. I love the fact we can do this, but I'm sure in your eyes you'd probably much rather we were getting together in person in front of a microphone and just chatting it face to face, so rather than over the internet. But it's great that we have the technology to be able to do that, to be able to support each other still and have that sense of community. It's I think it's truly important. I just think
I just have my fingers crossed that, you know, once we get back to whatever this normal will be afterwards, that us as humans and as a species, that we sort of keep the messages that we've like been reminded of what's really important. So yeah, it will be interesting. Yeah, it will be.
It will be interesting, and you know, I think the thing that has really touched me the most during all this with the pandemic, you know, even from the outset, was just the sense of community and the outreach from people. You know, the second that first lockdown went in and neighbours are looking out for neighbours, it's like, do you need anything from the shops? You know, especially looking after the elderly and stuff. It's like, you know what, you should be isolating, that's fine, you stay safe. Is there anything we can get? Neighbours are going out to buy milk and bread and, you know, dropping it on their doorstep and running away so they can come and collect it safely. It's just that sense of support and the love we showed for the NHS at the start, which I think is a shame that kind of ended up disappearing. I mean, it kind of came back a little bit, but it's not what it was. But I say it was just the sense of community and coming together when this all kicked off. That really, really touched me deep inside. It's like, you know what, that really inspires me and puts my faith back in humanity again, because you see so much, you know, bad news when you watch the news and all this terrible stuff going on. And then you get something like this, you know, a pandemic hits and people are locked inside their own homes. And then everyone's just supportive of everyone. It's like, yeah, that's what community should be. And I really hope that carries out off the pandemic once we get past it all, and people will realise that's so important.
Yeah, same. Because I feel like, I feel like it almost we prior to this we've gone into this society where, like, actually I'd probably describe it as, you know, when you go to London, and people that don't live in London, it is a bit of a shock when you go to London, even just for the day. You're like, oh, there's so many people here. And when you normally live near the beach, and you're like, oh, there's no breeze here, or oh, there's a breeze, but you can definitely smell the dirt in it. But anyway, especially when you go to the underground, that's like a proper, like, that's not fresh air, that. So anyway, but you sort of, you know, you see all these people that are busy with their own lives, and we're so easy as humans to get blinkered, and we only end up concentrating on our own, you know, our own lives, you know. Like, you know, if somebody fell over on the tube, how many people would actually go and help them? I'm not labeling Londoners here, by the way. Londoners are nice, they're nice, and that can happen anywhere. Someone can fall over, and you see the certain amount of people that will go and help, and certain amount of people go, ooh, that's not my business. So as you said, I think I hope that we continue this whole, like, you know, we're in this together thing, you know, because we're all on this train of life, as they say.
Yeah.
So we might as well help each other out while we're here. So
absolutely. I think, you know, you kind of made a good point there, and the fact that, you know, I think that all boils down to the society we live in, you know. And you know, we kind of touched on film earlier, and, you know, TV and bits, and yes, media bombards us with, you know, how to live, and so much of it is kind of focus on yourself. You know, it's all about you win no matter what. You know, you're only successful if you know, you've got a great job and you're rich and you've got a, you know, big house and 6 cars and whatever else. And it creates a selfish society. And that was what impressed me when we went into this, was the fact that with all of that, we've still got a selfless society. So much selflessness and caring started to show itself. It's like, you know what, I really hope that another thing to come out of this pandemic and the lockdown will be that media will advocate the fact that it's great and it's a good thing to be community. It's a good thing to think of others. It's a good thing to support others. And all this stuff that's come out of it. And I really hope that media will follow suit, as it were, coming out of this and start to put that up there as the good thing to do. You know, not this all about me, not being selfish, but being selfless.
Yeah. I think that's a real valid point, actually. Yeah, real valid point that you touched upon there, actually. So BBC and ITV, pay attention now. Pay attention. I feel like we touched on some really like valid points there. Oh, we went deep there for a second there. Went a bit deep.
Wow, it does happen occasionally.
Yeah, you know. Welcome to the therapy sessions, everyone. Life is fine. Don't worry. Give yourself a pat on the back. So I'm going to steer it again. So now tell me about because last year, or actually the year before, you decided to do a very big leap and you decided to start your own business after working in retail for a while, and that's where we met, in retail. Mm-hmm. We shall not name the company because there is many other companies around, and, but that's where we met. So, did you want to talk about your painting and decorating business, or would you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why not? Firstly, may I just say, you know, I have taught you well, my young Padawan. You know, we shall not mention companies because there are other companies available. You're learning. No, seriously though. I mean, yeah, 2018. After the 9.5 years, best part of 10 years of my life in one retail company, which is where we met. I thought about it over time. You know, I think I've been working in that particular place for a good couple of years or so before I decided, you know what, I should look at something else. I should look at setting up on my own. But it was always convenient. It always fitted in what I needed. And then in 2018, when I went out on my own, it got to that point that it was becoming a struggle to balance that and home life. Just purely on kind of staffing levels and being able to organise holidays and bits. It's getting a bit more awkward. It's like, well, you know what? It's time to make that leap. And a little bit of encouragement from friends as well. It's like, you know what? You'd be great. You know, you'll be good. You know, you can do it. And that's the thing. It's that initial leap of faith and believing you can do it. Because I know that I can paint. You know, I can paint nice and neatly, and I know my stuff, having worked in the retail business and worked in that particular area with paint and had a lot of training in that area that I carried into my business. And
yes, I used to do. Yeah. I used to do announcements at our old job that used to say, what was it? Good morning. Could I please have a paint advisor to the paint shop? That's a paint advisor to the paint shop. Thank you.
Yeah, I was always surprised you didn't specifically say my name because I knew exactly who you meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, fun
people
times.
just used to take the piss how I said thank you at the end. They were like, thank you.
See, I always appreciated that. A bit of politeness never hurt anyone. Yeah. But yeah. So good times. But you know, going back to it, I decided, you know, with a little bit of encouragement that it was a good idea. So I set up my business before I left the retail job, I did a kind of little bit of research, a little bit of prep work, so kind of buying some equipment and getting some business cards made up and things like that before I finally, and lining up a couple of jobs before I took the plunge. And it worked out really well. I set up, Linzell Painting and Decorating, and
Woo! Plug.
Woo! Go me.
This show is not sponsored by that company. We are not sponsored.
Proud sponsor. Behave yourself. And yeah, I say I had a couple of jobs lined up, and then by the time got through the first job, I had other bits coming in. And I started on the 1st of July in 2018, and I had work right from the beginning of July up to the end of November of that year, which was great. And yeah, then we got through Christmas, which was a quiet period, and then the pandemic hit, which was a bit of a thing. So actually, I got my years wrong. So we're in 2021. So actually, it was 2019, not 2018.
So
I shall correct myself on that. I'm going way too far back now. 2019 when I set up. So yeah, 2020 hit, and the pandemic. It's like
yeah.
I wasn't allowed to go out to work in the original lockdown. Obviously, things have changed, and we got to this latest lockdown, and I was allowed to continue, although finding work under lockdown conditions is hard work. Because if nothing else, because of people needing to let me into their homes, which is understandable. But it was a leap of faith, and I mean, I think the biggest thing for me was fear of how disorganized I can be at times, and how easily distracted I am. And therefore I was terrified of the tax side of things. It's like I'm going to so mess this up, and it's just going to be awful, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. But actually, that whole process of doing the tax stuff is actually quite simple. I did have to go and ask a friend who conveniently is a retired accountant, so that worked quite well.
That's always good.
But I had done it right. He just confirmed what I'd done, which was great, which is what I wanted. And so it was relatively simple to work out, and I did it okay. So yeah, that was the biggest thing for me was the fear of the self-employed tax side of things. But yeah, I mean, if you've got a goal, if you've got a dream, then yeah, go for it. It's definitely got to be the thing. I mean, looking back now, okay, it's all about timing, and obviously it came about in its perfect time, and it needed to, in as much as I had, a good few months of work there before everything kicked off. Not so great in the fact that I was just getting going, and then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you do your research, if it's something you love, it's worth doing. Don't be afraid to take the chance, and go for it. Because actually the tax, if the tax thing is the one thing that scares you most out of it all, that was the thing that scared me. It wasn't.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people talk about that because, I know a lot of people that do freelance work, and I think a lot of people are scared of that whole, I don't have an employer that helps me sort out all that stuff. So you have to, yeah. So I think,
I mean, the self-employed tax thing is. I say that was my biggest fear, and yeah, I mean, once I got into it and sat down, where it's simply they send you the online form, and it's simply the case. It's like filling an application form to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly the hardest part was figuring out where each kind of figure went as far as kind of claiming tax back. So obviously you get tax relief on the fact that of equipment and stuff, so you can claim that back off your tax year.
Receipts,
and it's
more receipts.
Yeah, so it's the hardest part is figuring out where that goes within the form, because it's kind of a broad base. There's quite a few bits in there for that, but it's quite a broad covering of what you can claim back on. And then figuring out, obviously, if it is something you can claim back. So obviously you don't want to be claiming back something you shouldn't be and get into trouble. So, but once you get past that, It really is just like sitting down filling in a form. Boring, I grant you, but you know, it's not difficult. You know, if you can read the form, and if you can just, you know, go for it sensibly, a step at a time, you know, it's really not that difficult to do. And if you need to, you know, get a bit of advice. You know, and if you've got friends who know, then great. But you know, places like the job centre and stuff, or citizen advice, there's things available. So don't let that be the one thing that stops you from chasing your dream. If that's what you want to do, you know, set up your own business and go for it.
Yeah, and yeah, you mentioned a good point about yeah, just going for it, and then you don't want to, you know, get to like the ripe old age and go, well, I wish I had a go at that, or I wish I tried at that. So
exactly the point. And you know what, I would write, if I fall flat on my face, if coming out of the pandemic, you know, things don't go as I would like, then I would rather that be the case than not have done it and look back on it and go, wish I tried. I'd rather regret something I tried and failed at than something I didn't try at all. You know, that's kind of how I've lived to a degree anyway, is I'd rather regret what I've done than not do it. And you know, you've got to take risks in life sometimes.
Yeah, and I think yeah, that was sort of like my main like New Year's resolution this year, was like to stop playing it safe all the time. Like, you know, I did as you know this, I did a film degree and then joined the company that we worked for, and then that sort of became a sort of, you end up getting comfortable and you're like, okay, I'm comfortable here, so why should I try in something else that will make me feel uneasy? Why I should stay comfortable? But you know, you could do that for everything. And then this year was sort of a thing that I was like, I need to just like slowly start doing my own bits, and then that could lead to other stuff and all. Yeah, it's, you don't have to do huge leaps. You can do little steps, and then, you know, as you do. Yeah.
I mean, it's a valid point actually, Harry, because actually when it came down to it, you know, funny enough, I did actually do one of my podcasts on the fact that comfort can be our enemy. You know, we can get into our comfort zones, and it's like, you know, well, you know what, I'm comfortable in this little bubble. This is great. I know everything's going on, and it's fantastic. It's like being a little snuggly warm duvet, and all great. You know, and by doing, you get caught up in that. It's like, okay, I'm staying here. But you know, then you don't take any risks. Nothing's going to happen if you stay stuck in your little bubble where it's comfortable. You got to step outside that comfort zone once in a while and take chance. I mean, like you say, it doesn't have to be big. Yeah, you don't have to go completely bananas about it and go, hey, I'm in a comfortable bubble. Let's do something hugely stupid now. Oh dear, that went wrong. Let's go back to my bubble. You know, take a little step. You know, so yeah, I mean, do what you're comfortable with to a degree, but do take chances, because you don't gain anything from not taking them. You get stuck in the rut.
Yeah, 100% agree. And then you can look round and then realize, you know, 10 years has gone by, or even like 25 years has gone by, and you're like, oh, I didn't do that. So that's a shame.
Exactly the point, you know. And it's like I say, it's about what you regret. You know, maybe you regret doing something, but it's better to regret trying than looking back and going, wow, I wish I'd done that. And you see it a lot in TV shows, film, and you know, even when you see interviews on the news or people interviewed on radio, and it's always people saying, I regret not doing this, rather than, oh wow, I regret doing that. Like, it's always it's the I regret not doing it. So I'd rather try and fail than not try.
That's a really good motto to have, and I think it's really good to enforce that into younger people as well, because especially if that they want to get into an area that's like so crowded, like film or TV or even painting and decorating. There's so many companies out there. Just because there's so many people doesn't mean that you shouldn't give it a go.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? The thing with it is, like you say, that there's a lot of kind of film people and TV people and stuff out there. There's a lot of paint and decorators, a lot of plumbers, a lot of whatever. Whatever your skill set or passion is, there's always going to be a lot out there. The key to it and the trick to it is make yourself stand out. Make yourself unique, and just get that point across that, okay, there's all these other people, but hey, I'm really good at what I do and I'm unique in this way. My key thing for me is the fact that I am just, friendly and I'm honest, I'm trustworthy. My little tagline, which some have said, great idea. I would say, don't be so stupid. But my tagline for the webpage is friendly, affordable, reliable. Because I want to make the point. I'm a friendly, nice kind of guy, trustworthy. I'm affordable. I'm not going to charge you a small fortune. There's people out there who charge ridiculous amounts per day to do the same job I'm doing, and I'm perfectly happy on what I'm, charging at the moment. Although I expect with rising costs, I will have to up it at some point. And just making sure, for me, be reliable. If people can rely on me, I'm going to get far more work out of word of mouth than I am out of advertising. People who've used me, the jobs I've had since I started have all been basically word of mouth. They've heard about me from friends and said, you know what, this guy's really great. He's really friendly. He's reliable. He's absolutely trustworthy. You should have him in your house because you can trust him to be there. And that's good. I mean, that's great. I'd rather have my business that way.
I feel like that's another valuable point that you said there, Rob, is that the strongest thing that can be in your business can literally be you as an individual. It can be you. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can literally just be, I'm me here. My service is me, and my personality and my passion into this is what I'm selling, and my skill and
absolutely. And it's like I say, most of my businesses come word of mouth through exactly that. I think the only one that didn't come out of that was one, actually, funny enough, I picked up just before leaving the retail job, because I got overheard by one of the customers talking about leaving. They mistook it as I was going on holiday and said, "Oh, are you going anywhere nice?" And, "Oh no, I'm leaving because I'm setting up my own business." And they was like, "Oh no, because I didn't realise it. I didn't place them because they weren't necessarily in regularly, but they were a regular shopper." And they said, I'm so disappointed. I always try and find you when I'm in here because you're always so helpful and so good. And it's like, and they asked me what I was doing. It's like, I said about painting and decorating. I said, "Oh, I'm just thinking about that. If you've got a car." It's like,
yeah.
Okay. At work, bit awkward. I did. And
let's look behind us and see not if a certain person isn't behind us.
Make sure the boss isn't behind me. But yeah, so I did have
lovely man. Lovely man.
To be fair, it was it was the last few days, and I did have to have cards on me at that point. Like, I gave the card. But funny enough, she came back and said, "Actually, you know what? I'll probably forget I've got your card. Here's my contact details." So, she gave her contact details. And as soon as I'd left, and was starting on this job I'd already lined up, I contacted her and set up the next one with her, and then it's built up from there. So there's only been really one that wasn't word of mouth. It was just purely, coincidental. I happened to be discussing about setting up my own business or leaving retail, and her interest in that, which was really nice. And she was a lovely lady, and it was a real pleasure to do that particular job, because it was just the nicest house. big stately kind of front,
at other people's houses.
really nice. Terrifying. Please don't mess this one up. Like I say, it's just terrifying. Don't let me mess this one up.
No, so and to cap off that particular part of the conversation, I would say if anybody's got a wall that they need painting, or like walls that they need painting, don't paint them now. Don't bother doing them yourself. Get Rob to do it for you.
Yeah, please do it. Well, yeah, please contact me and say
he's affordable and reliable.
I'd say friendly, affordable, reliable, and still working despite the pandemic, and taking as many precautions as I can to keep it as safe as possible. But there's only so much you can do, obviously. So,
of course, as Boris says, was it cover your face, make space, or whatever it is.
Exactly. You know what? I've done a couple of jobs in this last lockdown, and to be fair, it worked out quite well, because the last one I had was quite a big job in an office space, and obviously they aren't working in the offices at the moment, so I pretty much just had the place myself, so it was as safe as it was ever going to get. So it went well, but yeah, I mean, obviously if I went out people's homes at this point in time, it would be kind of masks. I'll be in whatever room I'm working in, maybe somewhere else in the house, or out for a walk or something, I don't know. But yeah, keep it as safe as you can, and I do my best to make sure that I apply, the guidance to what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, cool. No, it's good. Now we're going to dive in, because I know we've been talking for like an hour. We're going to dive into this now. Now I'm going to see if this works. No, I'm joking. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Oh, you rotter.
We're not doing that, for Christ's sake. We're doing this instead. And let me say, other film studios are available.
Very good.
I was like, last night, I was like, that would be funny. Let's do that. So I thought we'd dive into our film and discuss a bit of film news, or anything that you want to discuss about film and stuff. But I got a couple of things here. So today, literally an hour ago, I know if anybody has been living under a rock, and Disney Plus is very much in its full swing now. They're releasing loads of new stuff, including new Star Wars stuff, a load of new Star Wars stuff, like 50 things.
Handy if you happen to have Disney Plus and a Star Wars fan like me, but sadly I don't have Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Oh no. No.
I am weighing up the idea at the moment. I know there's an awful lot of stuff coming up, so it's like, you know what, I might switch one of the ones I've got over to that for the time being, and watch Star Wars bits.
You could fluctuate.
That's the way to go.
No, and there's lots of stuff for like your daughter and stuff like that. There's loads of stuff like that, I guess, Disney and all that.
Yeah.
So, so today they released the first trailer for the 101 Dalmatian prequel called Cruella, starring Emma Stone playing the main role as Cruella. It's the first trailer of it. They make a prequel out of anything these days, but apparently
yes, they will.
They have a Cruella prequel coming, and that is coming in May. I don't know if it's coming into cinemas or Disney Plus. It did not say. So also we got our first sort of thing about, have you watched Stranger Things? Do you like Stranger Things?
I've watched a couple of episodes. I mean, from a friend I recommended it. They said it does take a bit of getting into, and I did struggle those first couple of episodes. So I am going to go back to it and give it a bit more of a try.
So one of the kid actors in that show, Finn Wolfhard. There you go. I managed it. Dyslexic brain's like, what's the word? Letters. How do letters work?
Who knows?
He says apparently that it's the most scariest season, the next one, season 4, that's coming out next year. Apparently is the most scariest one. I have enjoyed it. It's good. It very much leads into the sort of like early Steven Spielberg, like 80s. 80s is so popular nowadays, isn't it? In terms of,
it is. It seems to be making a big comeback, kind of like the 60s and 70s keep doing. So maybe it's going to be a recurring theme every so often.
Yeah, there's going to be like so many shows set in the 80s, and then So apparently that's going to be the scariest season so far. That's coming out later next year, I believe. Also, we got Channel 4 released the first look at their hard-hitting documentary about Caroline Flack, that sadly passed away last year from committing suicide. And apparently I looked at the trailer, actually, it does look quite hard-hitting, to be honest. Lots of tears. And it shows the sort of ups and downs of her dealing with being famous and being in the public eye. And it looks like they've got her mother on board to talk about some stuff. So I'm sure that will be a bit of a tough watch, but probably still important to see, I'd say.
I think things like that are actually really important. You know, that they are raising more awareness of that. So I think that to have, I mean, it's sad, obviously, that she took her own life, but you know, I think it's great that they're doing this documentary because it's, you know, shining the spotlight on it, because we need more spotlights on things like depression and anxiety and things that lead to these tragic events where people feel they've got no other option but to take their life.
I don't really know what to say to that, really. I really can't. I've had my like proper low moments, but it is really sad that you picture somebody like that just doesn't see anywhere else to go, which is such a sad thing. Also, we had yesterday Elliot Page, the star of Juno, and the star of the very popular Umbrella Academy on Netflix. Other streaming services are available. Other streaming services are available. So he shared the first shot of them beginning the filming of season 3. He shared a shot of the back of their deck chair of him sitting on set, and the new series is coming out in next year, I believe. Next year. So that's all film news, everyone. That's all film news. Oh,
lots of film news.
Mainly TV. Actually, I did because the Corella one literally came out like an hour ago. So I quickly put that in, but the one that was there before, which you would find this funny, but Mosh was like, how would anybody be interested in that? Apparently, Anne Robinson of Weakest Link fame is going to be the new host of Countdown. Replacing Nick of Apprentice fame. Yes, so she's going to be the very first female host of Countdown. Are you a fan of Countdown, Rob?
I have been in the past. It would be interesting to see if she forgets herself and, you know, they get a question wrong and she she decides to go, "You are the weakest link." Oh wait, no, that's not the show I'm doing anymore, is it? That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be good that it will literally just be like a full powerhouse of women on that show now. It would literally just be, yeah. But
I think that's good. Yeah, I think it's great. We're seeing more positive and stronger female leads and roles coming into TV shows and reality and news and bits. But yeah, I think there's got to be a balance, because I think it has, to a degree, got a little bit OTT in some respects.
Yeah.
Not that I'm talking women down, obviously, but it seems that there has been a big drive in the last couple of years, at least, with kind of certain roles being, feminized, and like, oh, we'll have a female lead in that show now instead of a male lead. Doctor Who, most notably, which was fine, and I actually really love Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, funny enough, but I think she's been brilliant.
Yeah, she's a really good actress as well, like really good.
She's phenomenal. You know what?
So good.
I think the thing with that particular one is, I think she got a raw deal. I don't think the writing has been that great in the series she's been the Doctor, and that's let her down, I think. And she hasn't really shown her true potential. She's been great with what she's had, but I don't think she's had the best screenwriting there, personally. That's just my opinion, but it'd be interesting to see where we go with future episodes.
Yeah, because she's a real Jodie Whittaker. She's a really powerhouse actress in terms of like Broadchurch. I just rewatched that recently, and she's so good in that.
She's phenomenal, and she's phenomenal. She's relatable, and she's just really likable, no matter what she's doing. Like you say, she's a powerhouse. She does the serious roles and bits, but she's still, when she's being serious, she's just really relatable and likable.
Yeah.
You look at her, and she's like, you know what? She just seems lovely. No matter what she's doing.
Yeah.
She could play a villain, and you'd still be going, you know what? She seems lovely.
No, yeah, she seems really down to earth, and every time she's like doing interviews, she sounds like she's having a right ball, like like good laugh and stuff like that. And her northern accent comes out, and you're like, yeah, I like this person. She's cool. I like her. Yeah, no. Is there anything that you've been watching in particular recently that you have been watching and enjoying, of course?
Watching and enjoying. Well, I did actually binge watch on Netflix. Other streaming services are available. Not so long ago, I binge watched Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid spin-off TV show, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was I will agree that they've done 3 seasons now, and they have been renewed for a 4th. I read recently. I must admit, I agree with a lot of the people that, the first series was great. The second was a little, it was good, but it was a bit wish it wasn't as well written. And the third really oomphed it up and made it a lot better. I'm really hoping that continues into season 4. And, I love the fact that it's up to date for the younger audience. But for, those like myself who kind of grew up in the era which released the original Karate Kid film, which was amazing. I love that film. It's so nice to have the original characters back, the main 2 characters with Johnny and Daniel as the rivalry going on again, but with a younger generation brought into it. But the fact that they do flashbacks to the film to set a scene within the series, and the fact they have brought in some of the old cast again as well, and paid homage to them by bringing them in, and it's just been a brilliant combination of old and new, especially when you think about the fact that there's an awful lot of kind of martial arts stuff. It's becoming quite a big thing again, funny enough, martial arts, and you kind of wondered how something like Cobra Kai might fare, given that it's based off, the old Karate Kid film. You know, you're going back to the 80s, and it's like, yeah, are they going to be able to pull off, you know, doing something where it's that old but bring it up to date? And it's worked really well. So that's been really one of my top ones for watching lately.
No, that's good. I have to admit, Mosh desperately wants to watch it, but I've been like stopping because I have not seen the original Karate Kid. So
to be fair, you don't actually need to see the original Karate Kid to
all right.
get it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I love about it. Is the fact that although it is based on the original Karate Kid, although taking the kind of flip route of basing it on what was originally the bad karate dojo of Cobra Kai, you know, against this poor lone student who was being picked on and got taught by Miss Miyagi.
Waxing,
you know, you kind of think, how are they going to do it? Because Cobra Kai was kind of this big bad, you know, they were all vicious, and you know, it's like, how are they going to do that? But it works so well just because they've got, you know, the original two actors from the film, you know, and they've put a real different spin, and they've brought it modernized, and you know, they've introduced the next level of Karate Kids, you know, and with the students and bits involved. So they're bringing the new generation. So it's, you know, it brings it up to date. It's watchable for those who don't know the Karate Kid, and it's a real lovable trip down memory road for those of us who remember the Karate Kid, even the first time round, which just makes me feel old sometimes. But it is a brilliant thing. And I say season 2 does slip a little, but then they pick it up again in 3, and I'm hoping 4 will do the same, and it just escalates, and it's brilliant.
Cool. Yeah, no, I will definitely have to get round to watching it, and yeah, check it out. And as you say, the whole like martial art movies and stuff like that are really coming back into fashion, really, and more and more stuff coming out. I think that's sort of, and not just because of this, but I think it sort of stems to like the like John Wick and all that sort of like gun fu and all that type of stuff. It's really
absolutely. You know, there's been. It's interesting to see, because actually Cobra Kai in itself, I mean, there's a few other kind of shows I've spotted that are around now and have been kind of coming out around about the same time that are martial arts based, but they're obviously modernized new ones that have come out, not based on old stuff, whereas Cobra Kai is based on the old. But I've noticed a lot in TV and film that there's an awful lot of love for the retro, as I would put it, and taking the old and bringing it into the new and modernizing it. You know, they kind of taken old films and they've redone them, and they've taken old TV shows and they've modernized them, some successfully, some not so successfully, but you know, it's just lovely to see. You know, certainly things like the 80s era, which is kind of my era of kind of growing up, heading into my, you know, younger years, into my teens, and bits I grew up, and just seeing that. I say, some I've watched, it's been great. Some I've watched, it's not been terrible. It's like, no, you should have just left it where it was in the past. But you know what, you've got to, it's back to that whole, you've got to take a chance. You know, they took the chance, didn't work, it was completely rubbish, but hey, never mind, try again with something else.
No, as you say, it's so good when they do it well, when they bring back an old property and do it well. Like, I thought they did really well with like the most recent Halloween film, when they brought Jamie Lee Curtis back, and they've sort of reconned all of the bad ones, and they go, we're starting from like 30 years after the second one or the first one, and it was just really good. And sort of it's good when they end up refocusing and focusing on what made the original good.
Absolutely. I have to confess, actually, that is one I still have not caught up with. But I love the fact that they did do that. And to be fair, when I saw the trailers and bits for that, I thought, you know what, that's going to be great. I personally think, just from the trailer, I think that was going to be great anyway, because you've got Jamie Lee Curtis back in. But I love when they do that and they bring back what made it great in the first place. And I mean, like you think you've got things like Terminator and stuff where they kind of
they
bring back Arnie. I mean, okay, he's getting on a bit, but it's what makes it great. It's always been about Arnie, and the fact that they brought Linda Hamilton into the last one as well. It's like, great, you got that chemistry of that original cast, bringing it into a modern time, and that for me that worked really well. Actually, the last Terminator film.
I just feel like I just feel like that franchise is a bit cursed. I feel like they should be like, okay, we'll leave it there now because it's gone a bit. It's gone a bit worn out, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it. It was good. plus it's like so clever nowadays where they do the whole like de-aging, where you saw like a young what's his name? Oh, the kid. What's the kid's name? John Connor, right? Is it John Connor?
Yeah.
John Connor, when you saw him at the beginning, and I was like, whoa! I was like, damn, that's pretty good. I won't.
Oh, if only it was that easy.
Because I remember finding out when they were saying they were getting the original actor back. I was like, okay, and I did the dreaded thing where you Google someone that you haven't seen for a very long time, and I was like, whoo! I was like, okay, he looks like he's had a life. It's so good when they do it well, when they bring back old properties. And also, I just think it's so good, like when people kick off and go, you can't do this or you can't remake this, it doesn't really matter, because you always have the original thing. It doesn't really matter. So if they sadly butcher it, it's sad, but you still have that perfect little film to you that's good, like amazing.
Oh, I agree. And I mean, the thing is, even when they butcher it, it will always have a following of some sort. There will be those who like it, because it's a modernized film, and that's great. If it brings new people in, then great. We might not. It goes back to what we were saying towards the beginning, that we might not always agree, and we might have differing opinions. But if they remake a film and we think it's a hash job because we saw the original, we love the original, then fair enough. But say if it brings more people in, if it brings in a new audience and people go, oh wow, this is great. Oh yes, I'd like to convert them to the original and say, no, this one's better.
No, it's good. I feel like that's like a perfect way to end our conversation, to be honest. I feel like that's a really good way. You finished it perfectly as a professional, as you are. So,
and entirely intentional as well.
We planned this. We really planned it. No. Cool.
Yeah,
no,
like we ever plan anything.
No.
I mean, we always plan it. Sorry.
Yeah. It's really hard work. When we said that you can do anything that you dream, it's really hard work. You really have to.
Oh, this episode has been, months in the planning, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So many notes. It's not bullet points, I promise. No, thanks so much, Rob, for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's been so good to catch up and everything. And
it has been a real pleasure, and I was always happy to do it. And I hope we get another opportunity to. Yeah. Maybe we'll do another one. We'll do a follow up.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll bring you in on something again.
All right. Yeah. Cool. No, hopefully, eventually in the future, we get to go back into the hospital radio studio and do something.
Ah, yes. Back to good old Chichester Hospital Radio.
Cheeky plug there. Other hospital radios are available, but not in Chichester Hospital. No, thanks so much, Rob. You take care, and we'll chat soon, yeah?
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
No worries.
So that was my conversation with Rob. Thank you so much again, Rob, for coming on. it was super sick to be reunited with my Chichester Hospital radio buddy. Oh, it was really good. We discussed some really deep things. I think I joked about it turning into a bit of a therapy session, but I think it's always great to talk about those real deep subjects, really. I think it's really important to discuss those, especially with our situation at the moment. So thank you, Rob, for being an amazing guest, and it was a right laugh. As you said, when we're being creative, it really feeds our soul, and that conversation with you really did make my day. Yeah, it really did. So thank you for that, man. And we shall definitely collab again, hopefully soon. Well, eventually, we will be back in the hospital radio studio. Yeah, hopefully soon, fingers crossed. So I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys found it relaxing, informative, whatever you get out of this show. I appreciate it. And I thought today that I would end with the amazing poem that is titled World Leaders. So until next time, you guys take care. Music is not included on YouTube versions of this podcast.